Travis Kelce's life changed the moment he married Taylor Swift. Their star-studded wedding made headlines, but that's only part of the story. He's now married to one of the richest women in the world, and his lifestyle has reached a whole new level. Let me break it down. The wedding didn't creep up quietly. For months, fans had been staking out cities on rumor alone, and then it actually happened. The wedding of Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce took place on July 3, 2026, at Madison Square Garden in Manhattan, New York City. Kelce and Swift kept the guest list and the location locked down for as long as they could. Swift and Kelce did not publicize the wedding venue, planning, or guest list, which became topics of widespread speculation up until the wedding day. And the couple had chosen MSG as the venue for its large, secure, and enclosed space. The night before the main event, things were already moving. An intimate rehearsal dinner took place on July 2, 2026, with 100 guests at the Infosys Theater. Then on the actual night, the city watched it unfold in real time. Swifties stood outside MSG for hours amid rising temperatures, as black SUVs with tinted windows carrying guests made their way into the curtained-off arena. Nobody outside could see a thing. Security around the event was intense, so it remains unclear if the wedding was charming. But the night before the ceremony, the 20,000-person stadium was bathed in light. Then came the moment everyone had been waiting for. As the night went on, tired fans suddenly saw pink lights flash. "Just married" signs surrounding Madison Square Garden read. The timing felt almost scripted, almost too perfectly. A news release confirming the nuptials was sent out as rain started pouring and a sense of calm enveloped the area. A few blocks away, the city joined in. The Empire State Building was lit up in blue in their honor, a nod to the age-old wedding rhyme. Kelce didn't hand the officiating duties to a stranger. He brought in a friend who'd already crossed over into his world. To officiate their wedding, Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce pulled in comedian and actor Adam Sandler, a longtime friend who has previously gushed over the pair's relationship. Sandler had actually given Kelce a role a year earlier. The couple's friend Adam Sandler, who gave Kelce a cameo in Happy Gilmore 2, served as their officiant. People who were actually inside described it in ways that made the outside speculation look small. Good Morning America anchor George Stephanopoulos, who attended alongside Robin Roberts and Michael Strahan, called the ceremony moving, with Sandler bringing both humor and heart, and vows that were, in his words, real and vulnerable. Roberts and Stephanopoulos also mentioned that the couple wrote their own vows in little books. A photo that leaked from inside showed the couple holding hands as they walked up an orangey carpeted staircase described as a garden inside the garden. The names walking in and out of that building told you everything about the scale of Kelce's new circle. The 1,000-person guest list was impressive, expansive, and occasionally befuddling, with a Hollywood contingent including Steven Spielberg, Gigi Hadid and Bradley Cooper, Dakota Johnson, Eric Stonestreet, and Hugh Grant. Kansas City ties were represented too. Kansas City native and Chiefs fan Jason Sudeikis was also there, as well as self-professed Swiftie Nikki Glazer. Music and media rounded it out, with Jennifer Lopez, Graham Norton, Jimmy Fallon, and Zoe Kravitz also spotted among the arrivals. And then there was football, sitting right next to Hollywood. Sports figures like New England Patriots head coach Mike Vrabel and sportscaster Aaron Andrews. This is the room Travis Kelce lives in now. Not a locker room, not a tailgate. A room where his head coach Andy Reid walks out the same door as Tom Brady, Steven Spielberg, and Jennifer Lopez. 7-time Super Bowl winner Tom Brady and Andy Reid, Kelce's head coach with the Kansas City Chiefs, were also spotted leaving. That single guest list captures the jump in his life better than almost anything else could. A tight end from Ohio now standing shoulder to shoulder with the biggest names in film, music, and sport, all there to watch him get married. Here's where it gets genuinely wild. Kelce didn't marry a pop star. He married one of the richest self-made women alive, and the gap between their bank accounts is enormous. USA Today says Swift is the world's richest woman musician, and her net worth entering her wedding weekend was $2.1 billion, according to Forbes. Kelce, meanwhile, built a career that most people would call a massive success on its own terms, just not on Swift's scale. Kelce's net worth is somewhere between $70 million and $90 million, according to the New York Times. And he has made over $111 million through contracts with the Kansas City Chiefs in his career, per Spotrac. That's real money. That's a Hall of Fame tight end who's earned every dollar. It's just that next to Swift's fortune, it barely registers. One outlet actually did the math on it. Taylor Swift's net worth is 26 times higher than Travis Kelce is, with her $2.1 billion fortune built on music ownership, touring, media deals, and real estate. That same report broke down where her money actually comes from, and it's not just touring revenue. Swift's fortune is believed to be built on a fully owned music catalog, a real estate portfolio worth $125 million, and one of the most profitable touring runs in the history of music. Meanwhile, on the other side of the ledger, Kelce's net worth has soared too, but it remains comparatively modest at $80 million. The reason for that gap traces back to one specific business decision Swift made years before she ever met Kelce. The turning point came when Taylor Swift reacquired the masters and publishing rights to her first 6 albums, ending a years-long ownership battle against Big Machine, Scooter Braun's Ithaca Holdings, and Shamrock Capital, securing control over every song, video, and performance in her catalog. She's spoken about what that moment meant to her personally. She called the deal, "My greatest dream come true." Industry estimates suggest the number involved was staggering. She negotiated the buyback at around the same $360 million, which Shamrock paid in 2020. That single move turned her entire back catalog into a piece of owned property that generates income every time it's streamed, licensed, or performed forever. Kelce's income, by contrast, comes from a completely different model, one tied to snaps on a football field and endorsement calendars. His chief contract earned more than $17 million per season over the period of 2 years, and is locked in for $12 million this season, while Forbes estimates he made $30 million in 2025 through endorsement deals. And his New Heights podcast agreement with Amazon, reportedly worth over $100 million across 3 years. That's an athlete at the very top of his profession, still operating on contracts, bonuses, and deals that eventually run out. Swift's business runs on ownership. His runs on a clock. Put the two fortunes together, and the number is almost incomprehensible for two individuals. The couple have a combined estimated net worth of $2.09 billion in 2026. One executive who watches the music business closely summed up how Swift turned a single creative decision into a marketing empire, describing how she gave Disney a number one. Disney gave her a global marketing campaign, and it paid off beautifully for both of them. None of this seems to bother Kelce. If anything, people around the situation describe it as the opposite of tension. Neither person's success depends on the other. They reached extraordinary heights in separate industries before their relationship became public, making their combined fortune the result of two independent careers that happened to cross paths. But that doesn't erase the fact that Kelce now lives inside a financial reality most professional athletes never touch. Married to someone whose net worth outpaces the entire Kansas City Chiefs organization. When there's a $2 billion difference between two people getting married, lawyers show up before the flowers do. And in this case, they reportedly showed up more than a year in advance. Divorce attorneys who spoke to the press before the wedding were blunt about it. New York divorce lawyer Nancy Kemptob, who has represented high-profile clients like Bobby Flay and Mary-Kate Olsen, said it plainly, that skipping a prenup would make no sense at all given the numbers involved. Legal experts widely agreed that with fortunes this lopsided, some kind of agreement was inevitable. Morgan Richardson, co-chair of the matrimonial law practice at Tarter, Krinsky, and Drogan, said Swift and Kelce would absolutely have a prenuptial agreement, not just because of their fame and assets, but because they both fall within the age group obtaining prenups at a faster rate than any other generation. That timeline detail matters too. This wasn't something the couple rushed through in the final weeks before the ceremony. Richardson notes that Swift and Kelce, who got engaged in August 2025, could have negotiated and entered into the prenup at least a year before the wedding. Reports before the ceremony pointed to Swift's own family getting directly involved in protecting her assets. Swift's father, Scott Swift, has quietly helped oversee an ironclad prenup. An understandable move given Swift's billion-dollar fortune. And according to people close to the family, Kelce wasn't fighting any of it. Both Swift and Kelce are said to fully support the prenup, with Travis reportedly respecting Scott tremendously and understanding that Scott helped build one of the most successful entertainment brands in history. There was never any drama and never any pushback. One source close to the situation described the whole thing not as a lack of trust, but as simple financial sense. With nearly $2 billion in combined assets, a prenup isn't a sign of mistrust, it's smart business. The legal conversation didn't stop at money either, because Swift's entire songwriting career has been built on turning relationships into art. Attorneys speculated that her team would want a very specific carve-out. For an artist like Swift, who has built a $2 billion career out of musically documenting her romances and breakups, marrying Kelce is almost certain to yield great songwriting material. But Swift will want that right carved out in her prenuptial agreement to avoid potential heartache. According to multiple family attorneys, Manhattan divorce attorney Jacqueline Newman raised the same point from a different angle, that any prenup could try to limit what Swift writes about Kelce specifically, though she acknowledged how hard that would actually be to enforce. There can definitely be language to make attempts to try to avoid her being able to do that, she explained, while acknowledging that creative expression can be difficult to regulate and enforce, adding that there are ways you can get around it with creative license. Florida-based attorney Brian Karpf offered a simpler read on the whole arrangement, pointing out that since both partners entered the marriage independently wealthy, dividing assets wouldn't require the messy fighting typical of most celebrity divorces. Because both Taylor and Travis entered the marriage with significant independent wealth, dividing their assets would likely be relatively uncomplicated, pretty straightforward in light of their respective wealth. There was also the matter of privacy itself, beyond just money. Richardson speculated that privacy and non-disclosure issues could be top of mind for Swift's team. Since Swift's team is conscientious about public image issues, and the couple may already have had a non-disclosure agreement, with such terms also included in a prenuptial agreement. One legal commentator even framed the entire agreement as one of the most complex ever put together for two people getting married, describing it as the most sophisticated prenuptial legal agreement in history, put in place specifically to protect both fortunes, though, as that same piece noted, the protection mattered far more for one side of the ledger than the other, since it was less about Kelce's $90 million than Swift's $2 billion. So before Kelce ever walked into Madison Square Garden, his financial life had already been rebuilt around lawyers, clauses, and confidentiality terms most people will never have to think about in their entire lives. That's the paperwork side of marrying into a $2 billion fortune. It comes before the vows, not after. Part 4. Inside the ceremony. Security, secrecy, and a city on lockdown. If the money explains why Kelce's life changed, the wedding day itself is where you actually see it happen. Because this wasn't a private ceremony with a guest list of 50 people. This was an operation. New York City itself had to prepare for it like a major public event. Police confirmed publicly in the weeks leading up that they expected a massive surge of fans trying to get near the venue. Taylor Swift wedding. Police confirmed they've been warned about influx of fans for Travis Kelce nuptials at Madison Square Garden. One headline read, "And the city planned around it." Streets around Midtown were shut down for the weekend, and the couple's team had to file for permits just to hold the event, the same way a concert promoter would. Taylor Swift paid NYC more than $160,000 for wedding weekend permit, including police overtime. That figure alone tells you something about the scale Kelce is now operating inside. Regular weddings don't require six-figure city permits and police coordination. This one did, because the crowds outside were genuinely enormous and getting bigger by the hour. Superfans and sleuths appeared to have their hunches confirmed on Friday, as dozens of black cars dropped off elegantly dressed guests outside of Madison Square Garden in New York City. Even the designer clothing involved was on another level entirely. This wasn't an off-the-rack wedding dress. The bride and groom's wedding ceremony looks were created by Christian Dior Haute Couture, designed by Jonathan Anderson, creative director of Dior Women's, Men's, and Haute Couture collections, in close collaboration with the bride and groom. The designer's first couture wedding dress for a world-renowned celebrity, with shoes custom-made by Christian Louboutin and Cartier jewelry. Even the wedding party structure broke from tradition in a way that fit two people who'd already built massive individual careers before they built one together. Neither the bride nor the groom had bridesmaids or groomsmen. Instead, Taylor's man of honor was her brother Austin, while Travis's best man was his brother Jason. That detail alone says a lot. Two of the most photographed people on the planet chose their own siblings over a traditional wedding party, keeping the ceremony as close to family as something with 1,000 guests possibly could be. And the fallout from the size of the event didn't stop when the reception ended. Reports afterward pointed to friction over the sheer size and cost of the whole thing, and even friction among guests over logistics inside the party itself. There were also whispers of drama around who got invited and who didn't, the kind of thing that follows any event of this scale. None of it stopped the night from happening exactly the way Swift and Kelce wanted it to. Behind a wall of security, NDAs, and a level of secrecy usually reserved for state visits, not weddings. The couple threw a wedding shrouded in secrecy thanks to what were said to be ironclad non-disclosure agreements and TSA-level security. This is the part of Kelce's new life that's hardest to overstate. He's not just married to a billionaire now. He's married into an entire security and privacy apparatus built to protect one of the most famous people alive. Every part of his day, from where he lives to how his wedding got planned, now runs through that same machine. It's not something that existed in his life before Swift. It exists now, permanently, and it's not going anywhere. So where does all of this leave him? Married, richer on paper by association, and living a life that looks almost nothing like the one he had even 5 years ago. The couple didn't wait for the wedding to start making public moves with their money either. Just before the ceremony, they went out of their way to put a chunk of that combined fortune towards something outside themselves. In a lead-up to the headline-grabbing festivities, the couple revealed they had donated $26 million between them to U.S. charities, focused on issues from food and homelessness to children's health and education. That donation covered a wide range of causes, touching 9 food banks, 3 children's hospitals, as well as educational programs and organizations for animal welfare and community support. For Kelce, that's a level of philanthropic firepower he simply didn't have access to as a single athlete. No matter how many endorsement deals he signed, his public image has shifted right along with it. He's no longer just a tight end with a popular podcast. He's half of one of the most tracked couples on the planet, someone whose vows get described by network news anchors, whose wedding permit costs get reported by Variety, and whose prenup gets analyzed line by line by divorce attorneys who've never met him. That's not the life of a normal NFL veteran heading into his 30s. It's something closer to what a head of state or a member of a royal family deals with, minus the crown. There's also the matter of what happens next on the football field. Now that his personal life carries this much weight, reports before the wedding already noted how much influence Swift has had on his career decisions, with one headline framing his return to the Chiefs as something shaped in part by his relationship. That dynamic isn't going away now that they're married. Every future decision Kelce makes about his playing career, retirement timeline, or business ventures will now be read through the lens of a marriage that the entire world is watching. And then there's the question every attorney interviewed before the wedding kept circling back to: what happens to all of this if it doesn't work out? The prenup exists precisely because both sides know how much is riding on this, not just emotionally, but financially. Yet none of the people closest to the couple describe any tension around it. If anything, the paperwork seems to have settled things before they ever became a problem. And by the accounts of people inside the room at MSG, from Stephanopoulos to the guests posting on their way out, the ceremony itself was as personal and unpolished as any wedding of that size could be, with vows written by hand in little books, and a bride who reportedly cried through parts of it. That's the reality of Kelce's life now. A combined fortune north of $2 billion, a wedding that required city permits and international press coverage, a prenup drafted with the same seriousness as a business merger, and, somewhere underneath all of it, 2 people who by every account still seem genuinely happy to have ended up standing on that staircase together, inside a garden built inside Madison Square Garden, married in front of 1,000 of the most famous people in the world. Sources: CNN. Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce tie the knot in star-studded ceremony. CNN. Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce's wedding bash. What you missed. Wikipedia. Wedding of Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. Washington Post, a guide to the star-studded celebration. NPR. Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce wed in New York. Yahoo. What is Travis Kelce's net worth? How it compares to Taylor Swift's? AOL. Travis Kelce's net worth comparison. Celeb-Tatler. Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce's 2026 net worth revealed. Just Jared, net worth revealed ahead of wedding. Outlook Business. Taylor Swift's net worth is 26x higher than Travis Kelce's. Primetimer. Combined net worth and charity donations. Stylecaster. Prenup details revealed. The Free Press. A prenup won't protect your marriage. NBC News. The prenup clause that could protect her future songs. She knows. What's in Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce's prenup? Hello Magazine. Taylor Swift's ironclad prenup. Washington Post. What might the prenup look like? Stylecaster. Prenup terms finally revealed. Stylecaster prenup terms finally revealed. https://stylecaster.com/uncategorized verse General 1,234,917,944 Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce prenup wedding.